are speaking with Dr. Janet Lapp, who is a speaker and an author that started out as a clinical psychologist. Dr. Janet Lapp, thank you for speaking with us today.
Sure, you're welcome, thank you.
So you've gone from being a clinical psychologist to a professional speaker.
Right.
How did you do that, and why did you do that?
I felt a normal transition in my life. I actually began as a registered nurse, and I was a nurse for a long time, and then I decided to go back to school to study more, and I became a psychologist, and I became a speaker after that. And the thread is the same. I needed to help people. I needed to find an arena where the messages that I have could reach the most people. So it was a natural transition.
And how long have you been speaking for?
25 years full time.
Wow.
I know.
So people, when we hear people talk about you, they say that you're inspirational, but you've also got great content. How do you mix those
I disagree
together?
with that. I try not to spoil a good program with content.
Yep.
There's so much content in this world right now that I believe that the messages that we need to hear are beyond content. They're about having hope, they're about clarity, they're about connection, they're about giving, stuff like that. So I prefer to give those messages in a way that people can hear them. Yeah.
And so as health professionals, content is really one of those things that we love. How do we...
What do you mean by content, though?
So content in, we like to give people facts and statistics and telling them to do things.
Yeah, too bad,
Do you think there's a better way to do that?
No, I mean, that's obviously a necessary part of education. Yeah. Healthcare professionals are healers. They're brought into this mission for a reason, right? And they're here to change lives. And it's when we forget that mission that we burn out, number one, and we make everybody sick around us because we're all in a snit and having a bad day, and we just need to be reminded of the good that we do and today, the value that we have.
Today you are very inspirational, but also very funny. Do you do that on purpose, or are you just naturally
No,
funny?
It's an accident. Well, I don't know. I don't think I'm funny. I just I guess you grow up you get to have not a sick sense of humor. Everybody in healthcare understands about laughing at things when they're causing you some angst, So I tend to use humor, I guess, to make transitions, to get through things, and everyone in healthcare is listening does the same thing. And we used to laugh about a lot of things that people outside healthcare wouldn't laugh at. Because it just is very healing, yeah.
But we can share that, Do you think that sometimes we should be sharing that humour outside healthcare as well as within our own industry?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, because it's healing. You do everything that you can that heals others. Yeah.
And so with your speaking, when you're talking to a large group of audiences, how do you get that balance of making sure that you've got that you're healing, whereas a lot of us are quite used to doing that on a one-to-one basis, but we find it difficult going from that one-to-one to a big group?
Healing, I don't find any difference in healing an audience, and it sounds a bit out there. I'm not here to heal, but I'm here to change people. So my job as a clinician to a large group is to find out exactly where their pain is, what they're thinking and feeling, not what they're saying that is wrong, but what they're thinking is wrong, what they're feeling is wrong. And I do that ahead of time by finding out a lot of information about them, find out what they're whispering about, that they won't voice. I voice it publicly for them on stage in a way that's hopefully humorous, hopefully compassionate, so that they can hear what they're thinking out loud. And once it's out loud and it's out there, it ceases to be injurious to them. Do you know what I mean? Once you get it out there, you can deal with it, we can see it, we can see what's blocking us, and we can move beyond it, because my job is to help people move beyond things.
So understanding our audience is very important. So
Absolutely.
You're saying that we can't just do the same talk for everybody, or
no.
Like if we're talking about condition?
You need to be yourself when you're presenting with people, coming from ideally an authentic place. And the same stories can resonate with every audience, but I need to know your language, what you've been thinking, your specific audience. And to be able to go to where you are first. You need to know that I can come to you first and be where you are and understand your world from your point of view before you agree to hold my hand and come with me on my journey. You know, so that's why I need to come over to you and before I can convince you to come to my way.
And do you think, it makes perfect sense. I think it's fabulous. So when we're talking to groups or when we're talking to individuals, how do we get that mix of entertainment and versus information, or how do we blend them together?
With a lot of care and a lot of planning. There's a structure that a lot of us teach in speaking, much like constructing a symphony, to have an entry and an opening and to come up, create waves of energy throughout the program, and to plant humor, and to plant pathos, and to plant other information at precisely the right junctures so that they'll have the maximum impact. So we do space it very carefully, and any professional speaker I know does the same thing.
Great.
So everything's planned pretty much ahead of time. We give humor. Our darkest stories and our deepest stories and our humorous stories are always opening hearts, and the information that we want to get across we give right after that. Does that make sense? So there are a lot of ways to do it, but unless you make people laugh, unless you inspire them and help them feel, you're not going to convince them of anything.
Dr. Janet Lapp, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For
Thank you.
with us.
It's a pleasure.
So inspiring, making things humorous and connecting with our audience's hearts. Dr. Janet Lapp is a speaker and one of the best in the world. Thank you, Janet, for speaking with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.